While preparing to audition for an important role, I was splashed with sulfuric acid by an anti-fan. Although the concentration wasn't high, a small scar remained on my left cheek, and all reconstructive hospitals refused to treat me. The day after my accident, all my roles and resources were snatched away by the wealthy heiress Christina. To make matters worse, major media outlets fabricated baseless scandals about me, causing sympathetic netizens to immediately turn against me and demand I leave the entertainment industry. Adrian appeared at this very moment, gently stroking my face with determined eyes. Ashley, I'll always stand by your side. It wasn't until a year after we got married that I overheard his conversation with his assistant. Her face seems to be healing quickly. Did you miscalculate the dosage back then? The assistant replied hesitantly. Mr. Adrian, it was precisely mixed according to your and Miss Christina's instructions. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. Besides, rest assured Mr. Adrian, back then we didn't just ruin her face. Those scandals are enough to keep her from ever making a comeback in this lifetime. Adrian paused for a moment before letting out a light chuckle. Good. Don't let her become Christina's stumbling block in the entertainment industry again. By the way, Mr. Adrian, I just heard from the nanny by Madam's side that there's good news to share with you. Seems like someone is pregnant. Adrian sneered coldly. Pregnant? Who's pregnant? It definitely couldn't be Ashley. Before marrying her, I made her take birth control pills. Then he added impatiently, even if she were pregnant, I wouldn't let her keep it. How could she be worthy of bearing my child? Only Christina can have my children. When mentioning Christina, his voice softened. He even instructed his assistant to tell Christina that he'd pick her up tomorrow to go luxury shopping. I desperately covered my mouth to stifle my sobs. I had originally wanted to personally tell him the happy news of my pregnancy, but I never expected that it was all a scheme. All Adrian's calculations for Christina. I always knew he grew up with Christina, but he repeatedly assured me that he only saw Christina as a sister and that he would love only me for the rest of his life. I stumbled back to the bedroom in disarray, my heart aching with each throbbing pain. I originally thought Adrian was the only light that illuminated me, but I never expected all my pain and despair to be brought by him. People around me say I'm lucky, even though I was disfigured and driven out of the entertainment industry due to various scandals. At least I met Adrian, a company CEO who's wealthy and handsome. All the tenderness he once showed me has now turned into icy blades gleaming with cold light. The truth is, it was all a scheme for Christina to steal all my resources and become a superstar. He ruined my face and destroyed all my efforts over the years, forcing me to withdraw from the stage I loved most while bearing the brunt of public condemnation. These days, every time he gets close to me, it sends chills down my spine, making me retch uncontrollably. Once, I vomited directly on him, yet he looked at me with nothing but heartache, showing no trace of impatience or disgust. My Ashley, what's wrong? Is it poor appetite? It's getting hot. Let me take you traveling and treat you to some good food. That gentle tone, as if coaxing a child, made me wish it had all been an auditory hallucination, that he truly loved me. Staring into his eyes, I spoke in a seemingly coquettish voice. Honey, if we have children someday, will you still pamper me like this? Hearing this, Adrian stiffened momentarily but quickly put on an excited expression. I'll always spoil you, Ashley. You saying this? Could it be? Hee. Just kidding. I'm not pregnant. I quickly interjected, afraid he might suspect something, because I clearly saw the fleeting ruthlessness in his eyes. Early the next morning, he drove out, saying there was an emergency at the company. I didn't expect that. As soon as he left, Christina stormed into my bedroom with an angry look on her face. She was wearing exquisite makeup and high heels, and as soon as she entered, she crossed her arms and looked at me with disdain. Miss Christina, barging into someone else's bedroom is quite rude. The nanny who always took care of me, Auntie Emily, stepped right in front of me, afraid she might try to harm me again. Back when I was still in the entertainment industry, she openly and secretly set obstacles for me. After my incident, she took all my resources and even the roles I had previously fought for. Now that she's come to see me again, everyone around me is on high alert against her. Who the hell do you think you are, daring to meddle in my affairs? Christina slapped Auntie Emily across the face, showing none of the gentle shyness she displayed in front of the camera. Auntie Emily has always been the one taking care of me. And she's already in her 40s. How could I just stand by and watch her being treated like that? I immediately threw off the blanket and slapped Christina across the face. Take that back. You have no right to hit Auntie Emily. Christina froze for a moment, clearly not expecting me to fight back. The next second, she exploded, pointing at me and shrieking, "You ugly freak, dare to hit me. Not only did you prevent Adrian from replying to my messages, but when I came to see him, you even hit me. You bitch. Go die." She rushed at me like a madwoman, roaring. I couldn't dodge in time and was shoved hard to the ground, my waist slamming against the bed frame. I groaned in pain. "Ashley, what's going on? There's so much blood." Auntie Emily hurried over to help me up, but I had already started bleeding beneath me. "My child," I almost instinctively screamed out, clutching my abdomen tightly. Christina also panicked, standing frozen in place. What happened? At that moment, Adrian pushed the door open and returned. Christina saw Adrian and immediately threw herself into his arms, speaking with grievance and a choked voice. "Adrian, brother, where have you been? I couldn't reach you by message. I was so scared." Ashley fell by herself, yet she blames me. "Please believe me. Adrian, brother." "Nonsense. Mr. Adrian." Ashley was pushed by her. "She's carrying your child. Hurry. Take Ashley to the hospital." Just as I was about to speak, Auntie Emily anxiously interjected, nearly in tears. The matter of the child had finally been discovered. Sure enough, Adrian immediately furrowed his brows tightly upon hearing about the child, staring at me intently before letting out a scornful laugh. "Auntie Emily, this doesn't concern you. Get out. Cindy, bring the medicine in once it's ready." Without regard for Auntie Emily's and my stunned confusion, his assistant immediately brought in a bowl of dark herbal medicine. So Adrian had suspected me since last night. To be safe, he went to get the medicine early this morning just to make me miscarry. "Christina, I believe you. It's her fault, and I absolutely won't let her carry my child." Adrian, his cold voice coiled around my neck like a venomous snake, nearly suffocating me. "Adrian, have you no heart? This child is your own flesh and blood." I still questioned him unwillingly, but it failed to awaken any conscience in him. Seeing I wouldn't drink the medicine, he strode over, picked up the still steaming bowl, gripped my face, and poured the entire contents down my throat. The bitter medicine made my eyes water uncontrollably, and I coughed violently while clutching my throat. He then moved closer to me and spoke in a voice so gentle it sent chills down my spine. "Ashley, be a good girl. If you dare to spit it out, I'll make you take it again." When I woke up again, it was already midnight. Roused by a sharp pain in my lower abdomen, the intense cold and cramping made me feel as if I was witnessing the life of my unborn child being snuffed out. Gritting my teeth, I reached to the other side of the bed. Cold and empty, Adrian was gone. Seeing fresh bloodstains seeping beneath me, I endured the pain and called for Auntie Emily to come in. "Ashley, hang in there. I'll go find Mr. Adrian right away to take you to the hospital." Auntie Emily came in and saw my condition, then immediately ran out to call for help. But soon she returned with tears in her eyes. "This Adrian is truly inhuman. He had his bodyguards block the courtyard, not allowing anyone to leave. Even the family doctor was taken away. It's all because of that Christina. I found out that Mr. Adrian took the family doctor to accompany Christina, saying she had a fright today. Ugh, she's the one who's scared. She's the one who harmed you. My dear Ashley, how could you have met someone like Adrian, who can't tell right from wrong?" Auntie Emily patted my head, her heart aching as she scolded Adrian through her tears. The pain in my lower abdomen felt like a knife twisting inside, leaving me gasping for air and unable to speak. "Adrian, you're truly heartless." The excruciating pain struck again, and everything went black as I passed out. Adrian, by the time he came home again, I had already been unconscious for who knows how many days. In my dazed state, I heard someone speaking. "How could you take care of the lady like this? Why hasn't she woken up yet? And who is this unfamiliar doctor here?" "Mr. Adrian, you took the family doctor with you when you left." Madam started bleeding again at midnight and passed out from the pain. It was Auntie Emily who threatened us into calling a doctor. Hearing the bodyguard's words, Adrian recalled these were his own orders, and his tone shifted. "Have the doctor prescribe more medication. Buy some tonics." As for that Auntie Emily, when I regained consciousness and opened my eyes, Adrian was sitting by my bed in a daze. Ashley, you're awake. Are you feeling unwell? I ignored Adrian, and was about to call for Auntie Emily when I noticed Auntie Cora standing nearby. She was the one I hired to teach me cooking and usually stayed busy in the kitchen. Auntie Emily. Cough cough. I tried to speak, but my throat felt as dry as if it were on fire. Auntie Cora quickly handed me water. After recovering for a while, I noticed Auntie Cora looked upset, with swollen eyes as if she had been crying. Ashley, Auntie Emily, she cut her wrist last night to find a doctor for you, but it took too long on the way. She's gone. Auntie Cora wiped her tears again after speaking. What did you say? I sat up almost immediately, feeling a sharp pain in my barely recovered abdomen. Shut up, if you don't want to do it. Get out too. Adrian glared at Auntie Cora and snapped sharply. A chilling shiver ran through my body as tears streamed down my cheeks. That was a life. Auntie Emily had been by my side for so long. I'd long considered her family. Just as I was about to speak, a surge of anger choked me, and I vomited a mouthful of blood. Adrian reached out to wipe it for me, but I dodged his hand. Ashley, why do you treat your body so carelessly? Stop this. I've already buried Auntie Emily and compensated her daughter with a large sum. Enough for her to live comfortably for the rest of her life. A sense of powerlessness and despair spread through my chest. Struggling, I wiped myself clean and sat up. I closed my eyes, not wanting to look at Adrian. Get out. Adrian, I don't want to see you. Adrian frowned, disbelief flashing in his eyes, his voice trembling. What? Ashley, you called me by my full name and said you don't want to see me. Are you mad at me? Angry. There's nothing to be angry about. No need for that. You can leave. Adrian stood motionless, staring straight at me as if trying to read something from my face. Ashley, I know you're emotionally unstable after the miscarriage. I won't argue with you. I'll come see you again when you've had time to think. With that, he turned to leave. Is it over? Will I ever be okay again? Adrian, let's get a divorce. Adrian suddenly froze mid-step as he was about to leave, turning back with bloodshot eyes and a bitter smile. Divorce? You actually want a divorce? What the hell are you playing at? You must be delirious from the illness. Just stay here and focus on recovering. He turned and instructed the bodyguards at the door. Starting today, take good care of Madam. If she leaves without my permission, you'll all face severe consequences. I don't understand Adrian's extreme reaction. Divorcing me would allow him to marry Christina, fulfilling his wish, wouldn't it? For several days in a row, Adrian acted as if he was angry with me. He didn't visit or come home. The spacious house grew even more lifeless, feeling noticeably quieter. Though I welcomed the peace, now only Auntie Cora remains here to keep me company. In the past, I learned to cook from Auntie Cora specifically to make delicious meals for Adrian. But now it's no longer necessary. I once asked Auntie Cora. Everyone else has left. You should go too, Auntie Cora. I'll give you some money for your retirement. Auntie Cora remained silent in response, only earnestly urging me to eat a little to take care of my health. Ashley, no matter what happens, your health is the most important thing. Don't harm your body for someone who isn't worth it. Ever since Auntie Emily passed away, Auntie Cora has also given Adrian the cold shoulder. As soon as the words were spoken, familiar footsteps echoed outside the bedroom door. I looked up and immediately met the frosty gaze of Adrian, who frowned impatiently upon seeing the untouched meal. Why aren't you eating? Enough is enough. Ashley, I didn't want to deal with him. The sight of his face filled me with nothing but disgust and irony. So I turned and walked toward the inner room. But he suddenly strode closer, grabbing my wrist with such force that I almost felt my arm would snap. Ashley, are you deaf when I talk to you? I hate this attitude of yours the most. The pain made me grit my teeth in silence, my heart drowning in desolation. I've long been riddled with wounds, and my heart is bleeding profusely from the pain he inflicted. The more he acts this way, the more disgusted I feel. The trust and love I once had for him now only amplify the irony and agony. Let go of me, Adrian. Stop pretending. Whether I eat or not is none of your damn business. Spare me the fake concern. Adrian froze, clearly unprepared for my harshness. I'd never spoken to him like this before. His grip on my wrist trembled for a fleeting moment. The next second, A cold glint flashed in his eyes as he roared angrily. Ashley, haven't I treated you well? Why do you always have to fight with me? So what if we don't have a child? Are you threatening me? I wanted to let out a cold laugh, but my lips refused to curl. Instead, large teardrops came crashing down. Sometimes I wonder why all this had to happen. My face was ruined, my dreams shattered, and I even lost my baby because of his false tenderness. How dare he stand here and say these things to me? Despair and sorrow made me close my eyes involuntarily, letting tears fall. Just thinking about that unborn child left me with no desire to live. Ashley, don't be like this. Don't degrade yourself. It'll get better. I can treat you like before. Let's go back to how things were. Seeing me like this, Adrian stiffened, suddenly pulling me into a tight embrace, his voice seemingly choked with emotion. I struggled free from his arms, staggering back a few steps, and angrily confronted him with despair. Humiliate me. You dare mention that word to me. Go back to how things were. Return to being a fool who was completely deceived by you. Wasn't it you and Christina who ruined me like this? If I hadn't met you, how could I have been disfigured? How could I have lost my dreams while bearing the blame? How could I have lost my child and ended up like this? Finally, I unleashed all my grievances, resentment, and hatred. The wound in my heart seemed to tear open again, raw and bleeding. The pain so unbearable it made me wish for death. You knew all along. Adrian turned pale upon hearing this. He opened his mouth to defend himself but found no words. Slowly retreating a few steps, panic and regret flashed in his eyes, only to be replaced instantly by anger and ferocity. He suddenly turned around and shouted at Auntie Cora, who was supporting me. What are you standing there for? Get out. So what if you found out? Who told you to steal Christina's resources? Besides, I've been good to you these years. Gentle enough. What more do you want? I couldn't believe the way he looked, the hatred in my heart reaching its peak. Adrian, aren't you afraid I'll hate you? His body stiffened for a moment, but then he straightened his back, his eyes filled with obsession and madness, as he grabbed my neck. What did you say? How dare you? Even if you hate me, don't think about leaving this place. Hate me all you want, but I won't divorce you. As soon as he finished speaking, his phone rang. Christina's sickly sweet voice came through. He immediately pushed me away, strode out, and slammed the door behind him. Ha! As expected, Christina's words carry absolute weight with him. Love and indifference are always glaringly obvious. In the following days, Adrian restricted me to just one meal a day to force my submission, demanding I message him once I came to my senses. I smirked sarcastically, utterly indifferent. After all, I was fully aware of my physical state. The only suffering was Auntie Cora's, watching her grow thinner by the day while I stood helpless, until her fever spiked that night. I was both anxious and terrified, afraid she might leave for my sake as inexplicably as Auntie Emily had. Finally, late at night, while Adrian was away, I set the bedsheet on fire. Auntie Cora, I've dragged you into this. From now on, I hope you'll be free and live for yourself. So do I. After saying this, Auntie Cora and I exchanged a resolute glance. Fearing the fire wouldn't be strong enough, I gathered my own clothes along with all the things Adrian had given me over the years. The raging flames reflected my expressionless face. Fire. Help. Soon someone noticed the unusual situation at our location. Amidst the billowing smoke, I grabbed Auntie Cora and, taking advantage of the bodyguards being distracted by the fire, slipped out through the back window using my familiarity with the layout. The villa backed right onto the sea. Auntie Cora, I've transferred some money to your phone. Take care of yourself from now on. Wearing a life jacket, I plunged into the water and swam toward the light. Ashley is dead. Adrian stayed at Christina's place for 2 days before returning home drunk. As soon as he entered, Auntie Cora pointed at a charred corpse with him. Adrian didn't believe it at first, until he saw the unrecognizable body wearing the diamond ring he had given. The one he knew I would never take off. Nonsense. It's all nonsense. How could this be? Adrian screamed like a madman. The night shift guard showed him the surveillance footage, which confirmed I hadn't escaped the fire. Auntie Cora exchanged a glance with the bodyguard, who had long been Auntie Cora's botman. Unbeknownst to Adrian, this bodyguard was actually Auntie Cora's distant nephew. Impossible. Ashley, you're lying to me. Don't you dare pretend again. Adrian's hands trembled. Yet he couldn't bring himself to approach the corpse. Finally, his eyes turned bloodshot, filled with utter disbelief. How is this possible? How could you take care of her like this? He raised his foot and kicked the bodyguard, smashing many things in the process. This display of impotent rage. Who knows if he's using anger to mask his guilt? Back when he had someone throw sulfuric acid on me, he probably hoped I would die. After all, he never wanted me to be well. Now he can finally keep Christina all to himself. Let Ashley rest in peace, Auntie Cora said before turning and leaving, resigning and returning to her hometown. Adrian seemed oblivious, muttering to himself, "Leave my ass. She's not going anywhere. She can forget about divorcing me even in death. She'll die by my side, like a soulless husk." He numbly picked up the charred corpse, only to burst into tears the moment he held it, his voice trembling. "Ashley, I won't let you leave me, not even in death." The next day, Adrian had someone prepare an ice coffin. The coffin was made very large, big enough for 2 people to lie in. He carefully covered the corpse with a blanket and then lay down inside as well. "Ashley, it's all my fault. Please don't be angry. Can we go back to how things were before? I won't go anywhere from now on. I'll be by your side every moment." From that day on, he indeed stopped going out, neglecting company affairs. Christina didn't answer calls either, guarding the ice coffin day and night, growing increasingly gaunt. With him around, no one dared to make a move in the company. Hearing about his condition, several competitors began snatching business and resources, openly and covertly causing trouble for Adrian and the company. Company shareholders and managers came repeatedly to urge Adrian to find a solution. The company couldn't be ruined, but Adrian seemed spellbound, utterly unmoved, eventually driving everyone out. Christina watched, gnashing her teeth in frustration. She clearly hadn't expected Adrian to care so deeply about Ashley. Watching Adrian mutter to the corpse in the ice coffin every day, reminiscing about the past with that hopeless look, Christina finally couldn't take it anymore. While Adrian was asleep, she set the ice coffin on fire. In the raging flames, the long overdue for burial body turned into billowing smoke, and even the courtyard where I once lived was burned beyond recognition. "Ashley, if one fire doesn't kill you, I'll burn you twice. You bitch. You should have died long ago." In his sleep, Adrian suddenly woke up and saw Christina standing at the door with a venomous, triumphant look as she cursed at me. Christina was startled when she saw Adrian and hurriedly forced out tears, blinking innocently with feigned fragility. "Adrian, I did it all for your sake. You're bewitched by that bitch. You love me the most, don't you? Get away. You're the one who killed Ashley." Adrian rushed like a madman towards Christina, slapping her hard across the face and gripping her neck tightly. Adrian couldn't listen to anything at this moment, his heart filled with endless sorrow, his eyes bloodshot as if he truly intended to strangle Christina. Christina was terrified but still tried to play the victim. "Adrian, brother, how could you treat me like this? Don't you remember it was Ashley who bullied me and stole my resources?" Before she could finish, Adrian, with bloodshot eyes and looking as terrifying as a demon from hell, pushed her away violently. Christina, just like me that day, fell heavily to the ground. She saw Adrian staring at her fiercely, his eyes seemingly wanting to tear her apart. She forced herself to speak, stammering, "Adrian, brother, why, you haven't forgotten, have you? We grew up together as childhood sweethearts. You promised to love me forever." But Christina realized the more she talked about the past, Adrian's gaze grew colder, and soon she scrambled to her feet and ran out, gazing at the chaotic mess and the destroyed ice coffin. Adrian turned his head, his eyes flashing with endless disappointment and regret. Only now did he finally see clearly Christina's true colors. She always played the role of a fragile and aggrieved victim, but the moment he was gone, her true nature would immediately reveal itself. The way she had just burned the ice coffin, the venom and cruelty in her eyes, that was probably her real self. In truth, she was the worst of all, and he had been completely deceived by her. Initially, when listening to her complaints, I misunderstood Ashley and blindly helped her harm Ashley, not even sparing the child. In truth, he wasn't unaware of the past events, but seeing Christina acting as if she had suffered immense injustice softened his heart, leading him to tolerate her many hurtful actions against Ashley. Now, she couldn't even tolerate a corpse. wanting to scatter its ashes to the wind. It was only at this moment that he realized how hypocritical and unbearable Christina's tearful demeanor was, and how kind and gentle Ashley had been. All of it was his own doing that harmed her. It was all my own indulgence, Christina, failing to protect Ashley. In that moment, pain and regret flooded his heart. Adrian covered his face, hiding his tears from others. Now Adrian has probably gone completely mad, disregarding everything. He had the courtyard and bedroom restored to look exactly as they did when I lived there. He planted the courtyard full of pear trees I once loved. But in this season, even the pear trees cannot survive, making the scene appear even more desolate and tragic. He wandered around like a walking corpse all day. The company was almost reduced to an empty shell, and they withdrew their investment in Christina, never answering her calls again. I thought I would never have to see Adrian again. After escaping that day, I took all my savings and went abroad. Years later, I finally healed my face. It could have been fixed much sooner, but because of Adrian, it was delayed for so many years. I looked at myself in the mirror and gave a long-missed smile. During my time abroad, I slowly recovered both physically and mentally, and now I can say I've been fully restored. After recovering, I returned to my home country and found a place with spring-like weather all year round, where I opened a flower shop. I thought I would be like a flower, regaining new life and sprouting fresh buds, leaving the past behind, until Adrian suddenly appeared. It turned out that when I returned home that day, I was photographed by Adrian's friend, who shared it with him, saying I looked like the deceased Ashley, and advised him to find another woman. Adrian was instantly startled, feeling that person was me, and frantically searched for me. My heart tightened, and just as I was about to step back, the next moment my vision cleared as he yanked the veil off my face. A floral-scented breeze blew by, completely revealing my face. At that moment, time seemed to stand still. Adrian's eyes widened instantly, locking onto me as if afraid I might disappear the next second. The shock in his gaze surged like a tidal wave, overwhelming him completely. Ashley, is that you? It's you, isn't it? It took him a long while to find his voice again, speaking tremulously, so softly as if afraid to disturb this dreamlike moment. I took a few steps back, putting distance between us. You've got the wrong person. If you're not buying flowers, don't waste my time. I coldly threw out these words and turned to leave, but he refused to give up. With a swift movement, he strode in front of me and cautiously tried to take my hand. Though it had only been half a year since we last met, Adrian seemed like a completely different person, bearing no resemblance to his former self. His eyes were filled with panic and pleading, his unshaven face full of desperation. Ashley, please don't ignore me. I beg you. Come home with me. I promise I won't hurt you again. I was wrong, he stammered, his hands slightly raised as if to grab me, but he stopped just before touching my sleeve, not daring to come closer, afraid I would despise him even more. His current demeanor only deepens the desolation in my heart. When I loved him, he treated me with utter coldness and trampled on my sincerity. Now he's putting on this show of affection. I turned my head away, unwilling to look at him like this. The painful memories of the past flooded back, making me want to leave immediately. Move aside, Adrian. I don't want to see you. Not now. Not ever. My tone was icy, filled with finality. He seemed not to hear, his eyes reddening as he stopped me in a fluster, hastily saying, Ashley, ever since you left, I've been drowning in regret and self-blame every single day and night. I truly know I was wrong. I really can't bear to lose you. Only now do I realize it's you I love. Please give me a chance to make it right. I swear I'll treat you well. His voice choked with sobs. He gazed at me expectantly, as if ready to embrace me the moment I nodded. Yet I couldn't bear to look at him again. It took me so much effort to convince myself to let go of the past hatred, and I absolutely wouldn't repeat the same mistakes. Ever since that day we met, Adrian seemed like a completely different person. He stopped going home, even rented an apartment thousands of miles away near my shop just to check on me daily and deliver 3 meals a day. The flowers I placed at the entrance, he carefully watered and fertilized them, asking for nothing more than a glimpse of me each day. As soon as I opened the door, I would see various gifts he left at the entrance. To be honest, I find it utterly disgusting. His belated affection only makes me hate him more. I ignored everything he did, thinking to myself that he would give up soon enough. Sure enough, he didn't even say goodbye and rushed back to the company. I was just relieved to finally be rid of him. But what I didn't expect was that Christina had been following Adrian the whole time. And she also noticed that I had returned. Adrian had barely left when she barged into my room, smashing my flowers like a madwoman. "It's you, Ashley. Why aren't you dead yet? How dare you come back? Are you trying to take everything from me again?" I looked at her frenzied state and spoke coldly. "Everything of yours. What truly belongs to you. Back then, you were jealous that I was more popular than you. So you instigated Adrian to throw sulfuric acid on me, spread rumors, and snatched my resources from me. And now you have the audacity to play the victim here." Christina screamed hysterically as if provoked. "Ha, you bitch. So what if you know? I did it. And I just couldn't stand you being better than me. Why should you always outshine me? You should have died long ago." I curled my lips slightly, continuing to provoke her. "So you admit it. You took everything from me. But now, even if you got the role, what does it matter? Someone with no acting skills who only knows how to play the victim won't get far. Truth is, I've known about her all these years. She hasn't been doing well either. She was never cut out for acting, just riding on controversy and fake innocence in front of the camera. In the past, with Adrian's investment and backing, people had no choice but to tolerate her. She became more and more self-centered, looking down on newcomers and directors, and bullied colleagues on set countless times. Now Adrian's company is on the verge of bankruptcy. And on top of that, Adrian is acting increasingly hostile toward Christina. It's safe to say that everything she schemed to snatch is slipping through her fingers like quicksand, and her career in the entertainment industry is crumbling. Sure enough, my words hit a nerve, and she snapped, her face twisting into a vicious smile as she said, "Don't get too cocky either. If I could ruin you once, I can ruin you again." Guess why Adrian suddenly went back? Ha ha ha. She was nearly hysterical. That's right. I set people to stir up trouble at his company, all to get him out of the way so I could come and finish you off. All these years, he's only cared about you and completely ignored me. No matter what I say, he only cares about you. You bitch. How dare you have so much? You deserve this. It all should have been mine. She roared while pulling out a knife from her bag and charged straight at me. I had been waiting for her to show her true colors. With a quick sidestep, I revealed the phone camera behind me. My shop has always had surveillance, and I often live stream to sell flowers. Some people think I resemble Ashley from back then. So many of my old fans still watch my streams. From the moment she walked in, I was already live streaming. Everything I said was deliberately meant to force her to reveal the truth herself. When she saw the camera, she panicked and screamed in despair. You're trying to ruin me. You're so vicious, Ashley." The live chat exploded instantly. The truth from back then had finally come to light. I never expected it to be like this. Christina is so vicious. We must call the police and make her go to jail. It's all her fault for harming my Ashley. Sob. I always said she was innocent back then. Christina must apologize and pay the price. Christina went completely mad watching the barrage of comments flooding the screen, wildly waving a knife at me. "Go die. It'll all be over when you're dead." At that very moment, Adrian burst in with the police. It turned out he had sensed something was wrong earlier. While walking away, he had been watching my live stream. When he saw Christina, he immediately turned back and called the police. These days, every time he gets close to me, it sends chills down my spine, making me retch uncontrollably. So long that I was deceived by them for all those years. So long that Auntie Emily lost her life. So long that my child never got the chance to see this world. Ashley, Christina has already been thrown in prison. Don't worry, I'll make sure she never gets out. I'll make her pay for what she did back then. Adrian carefully watched my expression, speaking softly to comfort me. "Never show your face in front of me again," I replied to him expressionlessly, then turned around and started cleaning up the flowers on the ground. He suddenly seemed to lose all strength, his face full of dejection, let out a heavy sigh, and then also walked out the door. I originally thought Adrian had come to his senses, but that night, as I was closing the shop, someone suddenly knocked me out from behind. When I woke up again, I was in a daze. To my surprise, the layout before me was that of the bedroom Adrian and I used to share. Seeing the familiar bed, painful memories flooded back. Ashley, you're awake. Do you like what you see here? Adrian reeked of alcohol, making me frown. There were many empty bottles scattered on the floor. He continued without hesitation. Ashley, I was afraid you'd wake up on the way home and get mad at me again. So I specially recreated the exact same layout as our old home in the city where you live. Look, even the curtains are the same. The fabric you loved most back then. I just felt a pang of heartache. Helpless and speechless. Ashley, look at me. Really look at me. I know I was wrong. Let's go back to how we were before. We can have another child. Okay, we'll have another one. Mentioning the child only made it worse. It felt like someone had torn a piece of flesh from my heart. Adrian, you're only making me hate you more. I don't want to dwell on the past anymore. Nor do I want to see you relive those memories. I just hope we can each move on peacefully. Please stay out of my life. I turned around to leave when he stumbled over, trying to hug me. This time, I was already prepared. With a swift sidestep, I grabbed a bottle from the ground and smashed it against his head, just hard enough to knock him out in his half-drunken state. He clearly didn't expect me to be so resolute. Even as he passed out, he kept staring at me in disbelief. After leaving that place, I went back to pack up the flower shop. It seems this wasn't the right place for me after all. Later, it was said that Christina, upon hearing the news of her being blacklisted in the entertainment industry, became so agitated that she clamored to be released from prison. In a fit of excitement, she completely lost her mind, and the rest of her life was likely to be spent in a mental institution. Meanwhile, Adrian's company went bankrupt due to his negligence during that period, and in the end, it seemed he became a monk. A long time later, I stood in a sunlit place, carefully trimming each of my flowers. Now, the sunlight is just right, and the fragrance of the flowers is at its peak.